Seriously, who gives a crap if it's Berenstain Bears or Berenstain Bears? I mean, give me a frickin' break. And the fruit of the loom, cornucopia, that horn of plenty, I don't give a crap either because I wore jockeys when I was growing up. You wouldn't catch me dead in any underwear with a piece of fruit on it, especially when I was like 10 years old sleeping over a friend's house. But you want to know when I started to give a rat's ass? Is when I watched that James Bond movie, Moonraker, on TV not too long ago. And that little blonde girl, you know, the one that had braces, smiled, and she didn't have braces anymore. I was like, what the hell? She had braces. Question everything. Question movies. Question television. Question a damn James Bond movie when the little girl's supposed to have braces and she doesn't. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to question the Mandela Effect. My name is Aaton, and welcome to my cosmic awakening. All right, folks, this is a good one, and I know you've heard of the Mandela Effect, and there's so many of these Mandela effects that we hear about, and we're going to go over some of those today. But before I get started, just in case you're here and you don't know what the Mandela Effect is, let's go over what it actually is. So the Mandela Effect is a phenomenon where a large group of people share the same false or distorted memory. I should have highlighted false or distorted memory about an event, fact, or detail or pop culture element, despite evidence showing otherwise. Now, it's called the Mandela Effect because the phenomenon is named after a widely shared false memory. Here, I highlighted it here, about Nelson Mandela. Many people, including paranormal researcher Fiona Broome, who coined the term back in 2009, vividly remembered him dying in prison during the 1980s, complete with details like news coverage of his funeral and riots. Now, I'm going to stop right here before I go on. I remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison. Now, of course, a lot of people don't, and historically, if you look it up, he spent 23 years in prison, and then he became president of South Africa. I don't remember that. Broome noticed this wasn't just her own misremembering. Hence, that's not what I remember. Others at a conference and online shared the exact same incorrect recollection. Again, I should highlight this. Remember, this is a definition by either Wikipedia or Google or AI or whatever. So they're giving you what is historically supposedly accurate. So she created a website to discuss similar collective false memories and dubbed the overall phenomenon the Mandela Effect. After this striking example, the name stuck, as more cases like misquoted movie lines or brand logos emerged. Okay, and like I said, there are many of these Mandela effects. Some of you might remember the fruit of the loom thing, like I mentioned, and the Berenstain Bears. Let's go over a few of those. As I said, I, Aaton, clearly remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison and never becoming the president of South Africa. So let's do this one first, the Berenstain Bears. I don't remember whether it was Berenstain or Berenstein, so to be honest with you, I don't know, and I don't really care, okay? Either way, it was one letter, A-E. This could be definitely a false memory. Okay, the Fruit of the Loom underwear, okay, I got this wrong. I actually do remember that stupid horn of plenty. I never owned any Fruit of the Loom underwear. I wouldn't wear any Fruit of the Loom underwear, but whatever. That's what I remember. And again, it's like, okay, whatever. Maybe it was there, maybe it wasn't. Again, I really didn't care. Okay, the Monopoly's man Monocle. Do you remember this one? The Monopoly man, they say, had a monocle. Peanut Man, Mr. Peanut, he has a monocle. You go look up Mr. Peanut, he has a monocle. So, people, so you're like, okay, well, no, it was Mr. Peanut that had the monocle, not the Monopoly Man. And again, I do remember the Monopoly Man having a monocle, but again, I was a kid. Maybe it was Mr. Peanut. Maybe I was playing Monopoly and eating peanuts at the same time. Again, whatever. Now this one, no. A lot of people remember Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father." Now, I have to put my brakes on here and just say a couple things about Empire Strikes Back. I remember I went to the movies when I saw this movie in 1980. I have the DVD somewhere. Here it is right here. This is just one. No, I'm sorry, this is not easy. This is a VHS. What am I talking about? All right. I have a VHS. I have an early VHS. I have a later VHS. I have the DVD. I have the Blu-ray. I have the collector's edition. I don't know how much money I spent on these stupid movies. I remember him saying, "No, I am your father." And here's another one, Curious George's Tale. Now, I got this wrong only, apparently Curious George doesn't have a tail, but people remember him having a tail. Now, I got this wrong because, well, he's a frickin' monkey, and monkeys have tails. So why wouldn't he have a tail? Why would the artist of Curious George not give the damn monkey a tail? But he can. Let it slide. So far, all these I let slide. Now, this one is an interesting one also, and I got this wrong also. So I'm getting a lot of these wrong. But Ed McMahon, who was the sidekick of Johnny Carson, back in the 70s and such, and even, I guess, 70s, maybe even part of the 80s, he was his sidekick. He made, tons and tons of money being a spokesperson for, I remember, Publishing Clearing House. Apparently, if you look it up, there is no Publishing Clearing House. It was like American Publisher something. And I'm like, what? There's no American Publisher. I don't remember that. So again, I got this wrong. One more time, I'm letting it slide. This is where I drew the line. This is where I said, no effing way. And let me explain this one if you don't know this Mandela Effect. Moonraker is a James Bond film that was released in 1979 with Roger Moore. Now, back then, totally into all these James Bond movies, from Dr. No all the way to Goldfinger, the Sean Connery years, the Roger Moore years. I kind of stopped around the Pierce Brosnan years. I was getting older, and I'm like, okay, enough with these James Bond movies. Richard Kiel played Jaws, and this I think she's a French girl, Blanche Ravalec, I can't pronounce her name, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, was Dolly. She was Jaws' girlfriend. He's got these metal teeth. So there's a scene towards the end of the movie. Remember, he's got these Jaws teeth, and he goes to the villain, and he bites them. He bites them in the neck and kills them. I mean, it's quite, it's kind of cheesy. Towards the end of the movie, he meets this blonde girl, little tiny blonde girl. He's big, giant, and this little blonde girl, and she sees him, and she smiles. And when she smiles, she's got braces. And you could see even the glint. I'm almost sure when they shot this, they had a little ding, little star, little glint from the braces come out. And Jaws, with his teeth, smiles. And for the first time, he smiles in a sort of a loving kind of a way. And that's how they bond. And it was a cute, funny moment. About, I don't know, maybe a few months back, I was watching the movie on TV, and the scene came up, and the little blonde girl smiled in that scene, and she didn't have braces. I shook my head. I'm like, wait, did I miss that? And then I started looking up online, little blonde girl, braces. I wasn't the only one. This is a Mandela effect that many people who watched this movie back in 1979 remember the little blonde girl having braces. I've got the DVD of Moonraker that I bought, I don't know, who knows when I bought it. I put it into my DVD player. The movie wouldn't play. It was just a black screen, like the DVD was busted or something. What did I watch it like? I watched it like once. I have some that are still in the wrapper. It didn't play. I'm like, what the hell? Erased from existence. Why does it not make any sense? Because look, I have this one. This works. I tried it. I have this one. This one works. I have this one. This one works. And this one. And this one, even though that's the Woody Allen one. That's kind of a crappy movie. But here's the other one, right? That works. That works. This works. And this one works. They all work except for this one. Why? I'll tell you why, because there's something going on. And so I said to myself, let's figure this out. So today, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do for the very first time, for the first time for me, is try to connect to Nelson Mandela through dowsing and ask him exactly what the hell happened in my DVD. We'll ask him about being president and all that too. But I want to know what the hell happened in my DVD. Hey folks, I'm interrupting this session just for 30 seconds. If you like what you are seeing, please take a second, like and subscribe. It would really, really help me out. This is a brand new channel and I would love to continue doing what I'm doing. If you have a topic of interest that you would like me to dowse on, please let me know. I've got a list of topics already, but I would love to hear what you want me to look into. Let's start dowsing. Okay, folks, what we're going to do today, like I said, is try to connect to Nelson Mandela. This is my dowsing chart, and what I'm going to do is try to channel him in and ask him a few questions. Now, before I start, I want to make it clear that before I do any dowsing at all, I do all my preparations. This is very important. I do my breathing. Breathing is incredibly important. You take your time and you do your breathing. I do my blessings and my prayers. I drink a little bit of water and I bless the water. I sage the place, right, to make sure that the place is clear. I set my intentions. I say that I only allow the love light of the one infinite divine creator, God, to come in. I do all these things because you do not want any negative entities to come in. So let's get started. I've got my second angle here. Hopefully I do this so that you can see not only the chart here in the main screen, but also you can see my hand to see how it is that I'm really not moving the pendulum. I would like to ask the universe, please, if Nelson Mandela can come in. Can Nelson Mandela please come in so we can ask some questions? So getting a yes. There are many people here who believe you died in prison. To the best of your memory in your last lifetime, as Nelson Mandela, did you die in a South African prison? This is the money question, right? Did you die in a South African prison? All right, folks, can you look at that? Do you see what the pendulum is doing? If you've seen me before doing this, the back and forth between yes and no usually indicates one of a couple things. One, well, kind of yes and kind of no. Or maybe you can rephrase the question. That's actually a good start because the whole point of this is try to figure out what the hell happened. Now, actually, before I ask this question, because I got the yes, no, and the kind of maybe yes, maybe no, let me ask a follow-up question before I move on to something else, okay? You answered sort of yes, sort of no. Does that mean or imply that possibly in one timeline you did die in prison and in another timeline you did not die in prison? Okay, that's a yes. That's a yes. Now, let's try this one. According to Earth's current recorded history, you were imprisoned in a South African prison for 23 years and then became president. Did this occur? So this is going to be interesting because since we just asked the last question about timelines, I might have jumped the gun here by doing that. This will probably not be a yes and it will probably not be a no. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Did this occur? Yeah, and we're getting the cross yes or no answer again, which makes a lot of sense. The scientific explanation of the Mandela Effect is that people had false memories of past events. Is this true? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so we're getting a lot of these left, right. balances, a lot of these yes/no answers. Okay. Let's go to the next one. See, I jumped the gun. I think I already asked this one when I said, let me jump the gun. But let me ask this again. Is it possible that both events occurred, but in different Earth timelines? Okay, we're getting a yes here. All right, we're getting somewhere here. It's a timeline thing. Okay, it's not necessarily a false memory thing, which is the scientific explanation, but this could be a timeline shift as opposed to false memories. So that would actually make a lot more sense, you know, when it comes to quantum mechanics and things like that. If both events occurred in different timelines, are Earth timelines now merging? Because we have some people remembering one thing and another set remembering something else. Can we get a yes or no here? Okay, we're getting, you know what, I'm going to follow up here. That's sort of a yes/no answer. How about splitting? Are Earth timelines splitting? Oh, okay, that's a yes. So a lot of times when you dowse, the universe is basically telling you, you're close, you're close, you're kind of there, kind of ask it again. Unfortunately, you know, that's the way they communicate, right? It's not like they can tap you on the shoulder and say, dumb shit, try it again. This is the money question, ladies and gentlemen. My DVD of the film Moonraker is totally messed up and will not play. Is that because I am in a different timeline now and the DVD is in another timeline? I don't know. I mean, how do I know why it's not working? So is that the reason? Am I in a different timeline? The DVD is in a different timeline? Holy shit. Crap almighty. My DVD is in a different timeline. I'm here, and my DVD, I mean, this is a fake DVD. This is the one that was erased from existence. My DVD is somewhere else. Well, I mean, that's fine, but I'm out $20. My next question was if the last answer is no. The last answer was yes. So I guess I really shouldn't ask this question. But my question was, okay then, is it just that my DVD is messed up and I have an active storytelling imagination and think that the scene would have worked way better if the short blonde girl had braces for comedy's sake? Well, you know, I can't ask that question because the last answer was yes. What percentage of the population believe that you died in prison and never became president of South Africa? We're going to use the percentage section here. So the pendulum should not, hopefully, if I ask this question correctly and we get the right answer, should not go to yes, no, but should go to a percentage. So once again, what percentage of the population believed that you actually died in prison? Oh, wow. So we're looking at around 20%. I'm in the minority because I believe that he died in prison, whereas supposedly 80%, well, we don't know if it's 80% because it could be something else, but most of the population believes that he did become president of South Africa. So I'm in the minority. How about you? Are you in the minority? I'd like to know in the comments, I would really like to know in the comments what you think, what you believe about Nelson Mandela, or even any of the other Mandela effects. Do you remember Moonraker? Do you remember Berenstain Bears or Fruit of the Loom or the Monocle Man? Let me know, because the more we get responses, the more we can kind of figure out, you know, no, we're all in different timelines here. We all shifted. Was it in your pre-birth plan to introduce the Mandela effect to humanity? I mean, honestly, I have Nelson Mandela here, and this is what I'm asking. I'm not asking about all of his wonderful contributions to the world as being president of South Africa. I'm asking about the Mandela effect. That's a yes, folks. That's a yes. If yes, and we got a yes, oh, what was the reason? Please give me one or two words. Okay, so when I ask for a word or two to come in, we don't know what we're going to get in. Sometimes we get words, sometimes we get gibberish, but let's see what we can say. So let me try, please, Nelson Mandela. If yes, what was the reason? Please give me one or two words. L O V E, love. And we're going just in a circle. Are we going more? Let's see. No, love. Wow. Okay, so I can only assume, and I'm making a huge assumption here, that this is a way to awaken people. Let me ask that. Let's ask that one last question, folks. Is this a way, the Mandela Effect, to awaken people? And we're getting a yes. First, I want to thank Nelson Mandela for being here. Thank you very much, Nelson Mandela, for coming in, giving us answers to these questions so we can understand what's going on with our awakening. Do you have any Mandela effects? I want to know. I have another one that I'm not even gonna, maybe I'll do a part 2. We'll see if you guys want me to. I have another Mandela effect that is so mind-blowing. It is so personal. It's like I really jumped a timeline, but I'm not gonna mention it here. But let me know what you think. Do you like what I'm doing? This is just my 3rd video. I don't know if I'm going to do any more. I mean, I'm going to do a few more. I got a couple more here to do. But if you like what I'm doing, please let me know. Please like and subscribe. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm giving it a shot here. If you have any topics that you'd like me to do, that you'd like me to dowse for, please let me know. I would absolutely love to hear them.